In the quiet town of Agura, nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, lived a woman named Abeni, which tree whose peculiar habits set her apart from everyone else. She named her newborn daughter anew each dawn, a practice that baffled and unsettled the townsfolk. On Monday, the child was Ayami. Her name sung softly as Abeni cradled her under the morning sun. By Tuesday, she was Hola, her laughter filling their modest home. Wednesday brought more Remy, a name that danced on Abeni's lips as she rocked her daughter to sleep. Thursday arrived, and the child became Awa, her tiny hands grasping at the world with curiosity. No one in Agura could fathom why Abeni did this. Her husband, Kola, a man of practical mind and weary heart, grew increasingly frustrated, his face etched with embarrassment as neighbors whispered, "Is she mad?" They murmured in the market, their voices sharp with judgment, watching her child's name like seasons. Some speculated the child was cursed, others that Abni herself was touched by lunacy. Kola, unable to bear the gossip, confronted her one evening, his voice trembling with anger. Abeni, this must stop. Our daughter cannot live with a new name each day. What will she be when she grows? Who will she be? Abini, her eyes calm yet distant, folded a baby blanket with deliberate care and replied, "Time will tell, Kola. She will know who she is when the moment is right." Her words, cryptic and unyielding, only deepened his frustration. Kola stormed out, seeking solace in the town's dusty paths, where his mother's voice crackled through his phone. Cole, coaching, sharp with disdain, "I warned you, Kola. That woman is not right. Leave her before she drags our family name into the mud." The weight of his mother's words, coupled with the town's relentless mockery, broke Kola's resolve. That night, he packed his bags and left, abandoning Kabeni and their nameless daughter to face Agura's scorn alone. Talking but resolute, Abeni held her daughter close, tears streaming down her face as she whispered promises of love into the night. The townsfolk grew colder, their whispers turning to outright shunning. When Abini tried to enroll her daughter in school at 4, the headmistress scoffed. "A child with no legal name? We cannot register someone who is Ayami today and Desua tomorrow." "This is no game, madam." There, Abeni pleaded, insisting her daughter was special, that there was a reason for her actions, but the school gates closed against them. Her daughter, innocent and confused, asked, "Mama, why are they angry? Did I do something wrong?" Aveni forced a smile, her heart aching. "No, my love, they just don't understand." Undeterred, she taught her daughter at home, pouring her soul into lessons of letters, numbers, and stories of distant lands. The girl flourished, her mind sharp and her speech eloquent, surpassing her peers despite their isolation. By 6, she read fluently and helped Abeni balance the books at their small market stall, where passers-by still pointed and whispered, calling her the name-changing witch. The cruelty stung, especially when Abini saw her daughter gazing longingly at other children playing, her solitude a heavy burden. Determined to ease her pain, Abeni crafted a beautiful doll from vibrant scraps of cloth, its eyes sewn with care to mirror her daughter's warmth. Name her, Abeni said, handing the doll to her daughter, whose face lit up with joy. Angela, the girl declared without hesitation, meaning bringer of joy. From that day, Angela became her constant companion, a friend in a world that offered none. Years passed, and Abeni's daughter grew into a striking young woman of 18, her beauty matched only by her resilience. Still, she had no friends but Angela, the doll now worn but cherished. One fateful day, while fetching water from the stream, she heard a scream pierce the forest. Dropping her pot, she ran toward the sounds and found a pregnant woman writhing in pain, bitten by a venomous snake. Acting swiftly, the girl tied a cloth around the woman's neck to slow the poison. But the woman, gasping, gave birth before her eyes and then fell still, her life slipping away. Stunned, the girl held the newborn, its cries echoing in the silent woods. She found a bag beside the woman's body and carried it and the baby home to Abeni, who listened in horror as her daughter recounted the scene. She didn't tell me her name, Mama. She just left her baby. Abeni took the child, her heart heavy with the sorrow and duty. Ebony, we must find her family, she said, searching the bag for clues. Searching the bag for clues. Inside, beneath a tattered scarf, was a photograph of a man, his face unfamiliar. No name, no address, only questions. The villagers, predictably, offered no help, their distrust of Abini and her daughter absolute. So they kept the baby, naming her Arika, a name that felt like a whisper of destiny. When the girl spoke it, her eyes alight with an unexplainable joy. The house, once quiet, now hummed with Arika's cries and giggles, a warmth Abinai hadn't felt in years. The villagers' suspicions grew dark. She's a witch, one neighbor hissed, claiming to have heard strange chants from Abini's home. The whispers turned into the meeting into a mob. By dusk, a crowd gathered outside Abini's compound, armed with sticks, Bibles, biography, these, and bottles of anointing oil, their faces twisted with fear and anger. Abeni stepped out, Arika in her arms, her daughter by her side. What have I done? She asked, her voice steady. You mocked me when my husband left, shunned my daughter, and now call me a witch for saving a child? The mob demanded to see where the baby's mother died, so Abeni and her daughter led them to the forest. The woman's body was gone, leaving only a blood-stained scarf and the scattered leaves. Lies! A villager shouted. She buried her for rituals. The accusations escalated, and the mob chased them from Agura, their footsteps pounding like thunder. Abeni ran, clutching Arika, her daughter weeping beside her, until they collapsed on a dusty road, exhausted and homeless. Desperate, Abeni remembered Kola's mother in the neighboring village of Aketu. Though the woman despised her, Abeni hoped for mercy. They arrived at midnight, bedraggled and starving, and knocked on the rusted gate. Mama Cola opened the door, her eyes blazing. "You witch! You dare bring your madness and the bastard child here?" Abeni fell to her knees, begging for one night's shelter. Wonderful, but Mama Cola stabbed and threatened to summon the town boys. "You and your chameleon-named daughter can die, for all I care," she sneered, slamming the door. Abeni stood, her spirit battered but unbroken, and led her daughter and Arika into the night. They walked until they found an abandoned hut by the forest's edge, its dusty interior a haven of safety. Abeni laid Arika down, her daughter curling protectively around the baby, and whispered a prayer before sleep claimed them. At dawn, panic seized Abeni. Her daughter was gone. She called out Adutu, the previous day's name, then stopped, realizing she hadn't named her daughter today, breaking her lifelong ritual. With Erika strapped to her back, Abeni searched the unfamiliar village, asking strangers if they'd seen her daughter, but without a name to give, her pleas were met with confusion. Tears fell as she returned to the hut, where an old woman sat outside, her eyes kind but piercing. Apologizing for trespassing, Abeni poured out her story, the accusations, the exile, her missing daughter. The old woman nodded, offering the hut as shelter and pointing to a pot of milk for Arika, who wailed inconsolably. As Abeni heated the milk, Arika's cries grew frantic, and a sudden pain shot through Abeni's spine. She collapsed, her vision blurring as the old woman's voice turned venomous. "You shouldn't have come here, Abeni. You brought her to me, the cursed princess I've sought for months." Paralyzed, Abeni watched in horror as the old woman lifted Arika, her smile wicked. The woman revealed herself as the sorceress who had killed the king to seize power for her son. Son, so Hasni Howard school, only to learn of the queen's pregnancy. She'd hunted the queen, but her prayers shielded the child until her death in the forest. The sorceress's dark mirror couldn't trace Arika because Abeni's daughter, with her ever-changing names, confused the spirits. Today, Abeni's failure to name her daughter had broken the protective veil. With as the sorceress raised a dagger over Arika, vowing she'd never claim her throne, the hut's door burst open. Abeni's daughter stood there, fierce and breathless, beside a man whose face matched the photograph. The queen's brother, Wharton, thought dead but safe from a shallow grave. He'd been searching for his sister's child, piecing together Abeni's story and following them to the hut. The sorceress screamed, but Dalton wrestled the dagger from her, plunging it into her abdomen. As she fell, the hut fell silent, Arika's cries ceasing. And some, Abeni, freed from the spell, rushed to her daughter, naming her Lua, meaning hope of God, a name that felt like a culmination of their trials. Dalton, holding Arika, declared they must return to the palace. There, he revealed,